Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play that meets every Tuesday night. Last week, the party had a somewhat easy day as they chose to rest in the aftermath of the battle that claimed the lives of two of their members, Jebel and Yukikaze having been restored to life, and then they and Raiken having found a way to cure the ongoing curse upon them, giving that knowledge to the soldiers, the clerics, and the clerics being able to call in a favor from the university, it would seem, has averted potential disaster in the city, and the victorious heroes retired to Boar Hunter Lodge to sleep it off. And so they did, with the exception of Vendar and Jebel, who set about taking the ingredients that they had painstakingly gathered over the previous few days through their shady connections to the underworld and Vendar's past, his family's connections. They went to try and recreate this behavior-modifying drug that had been administered to Vendar's older brother, Vicaris, before the war with Bromdor. And with their combined very expert knowledge on the subject, as they have spent almost the entire campaign independently studying alchemy and what they can do with these alchemical things, they were able to produce, on their first try, a very good attempt at replicating this. And with the feedback from Dr. Neeland, who has spent the last couple months helping Vicaris recover, work through his issues outside of having this pharmaceutical, we're able to create an even better version than what, or supposedly what will be an even better version than what Vendar's father used to give Vicaris. And so drinks and celebrations were had among the three of them, while the rest of the party rested. And when they finally did retire, Laramendus exchanged some sendings with Nalia back in Bromdor, and then the next day finally dawned. The party, waking up refreshed, having a long rest, began to discuss their plans for the future, ending on the topic of Rowan, former party member turned agent of Lolth, who was absconded by Abishai to one of the 9 hells of Bator, and Laramendus was listing off the reason, the ways that they could do something about it, and the reasons that it probably wasn't a good idea. Ultimately, the party did decide that it was not in the cards now, and so as the morning carries on, still early, we pick up in their discussions of their future plans. I will say, in the absence of one of the players, due to life stuff, I will be activating the Chaos Curse to remove their character from the scene as obtrusively as possible. And the party knows that they needn't seek them out. They will return when the player does, sometime in the future. So, as you are, sat upon the beds, having this discussion, listing out the reasons, the ways, and the means for all of your plans for the day and into the future, you're going to hear this kind of echoing laugh exude from the corner of the room which contains Cyrus, the halfling, and as this laugh is kind of echoing out from him, you are going to notice that his eyes are doing that flashing of the glowing green, and then back to their normal dark forest green. And you're going to witness as he kind of cries out shrilly, and as his body begins to change, and he turns into this mushroom on the bed in the most horrible rendition of the Fly you can think of. And just as anybody might be thinking to do something about it, a bird is going to fly in the window, grab up the mushroom, and fly out another window. A window that you are certain was not open. And the corner where he was will echo with that same malevolent voice that you remember belonging to Brendan, as he says, "I'm going to borrow him for a while. Don't worry. You'll get him back in one piece, or if you're lucky, more than one piece. That would be a bargain, wouldn't it?" And you're left with that haunting image. But at this point, you are all aware that if Brendan isn't dead, then he is not a power you wish to mess with at this time.
Raiken, who...
All the more reason to not go into hell.
Wait, Raiken didn't face Brendan, right? That was when they were going to try to find him.
That's right. Him. Raiken himself didn't face Brendan. It was Tatsuya.
So Raiken could be like, "Oh, that sounds nice." Sarcastically.
I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I kind of imagine the rest of the group is somewhat stricken by these events.
This again. Or sorry.
He didn't become a mushroom last time.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's already been longer than last time he went, eh? To be fair, we don't know he didn't become a mushroom. It happened in the fog. Because he got
There's
taken
at least
during
one
the
time
battle.
when he didn't become a mushroom.
There was at least one time when he didn't become a mushroom.
That was on the bed, when the bed suddenly caught fire, and then he teleported.
Yeah. That was not a mushroom. That was fire.
Yeah, he's already been gone longer than he was last time.
It's weird that it actually it spoke a lot this time. That's kind of odd, right?
The last time it spoke like that was when we were trying to figure out how to undo things.
That's
which
true.
didn't work. So I don't think there's anything we can do.
Literally, I did everything I know how to do. I will point out...
breakfast.
I will point out that you have a wish spell, but you do know that whatever you'd be wishing for would be outside of, the rules that protect you from feedback.
Yeah. And now we do not have the ability to wish a simulacrum of somebody with a 9th level spell slot, which means if I wanted to make a simulacrum, I would need to use a large amount of residuum and 12 hours, and also learn the simulacrum spell.
That only takes like 3.5 hours.
It's a 7th level spell.
Yeah. Isn't
So
it a half hour per
hours.
level? Oh,
No, it's an
2
hour.
hours.
It's a half hour for something in your school, but it's not an abjuration spell. It's a
transmutation.
an illusion.
Oh, illusion. That's right. It's weird.
Yeah, because you make a snow golem and then make it look like you.
All right. Anyway, just making sure that there isn't anybody out there like, wait a second, we have wish, we can undo this.
Let's not waste it.
So many layers to that comment. In any event, there is going to come a knock at your door, despite the early hour. Although, the sun is up, so I suppose it's not that early. It's just early for you guys.
Are you the Raven? Knock at my chamber door.
Yeah.
I go over to the door and open it.
Ooh-hoo-hoo. The door is opened. You open the door, Laramendus, and a man, who does resemble in the eyes and the shape of the nose, Vendar, but otherwise seems to be at least a few years older and much more weathered, world-weary, stands in the doorway, kind of leaned in a little, like kind of ducking his head down and sort of, tilting his eyes up to look through the door. Stands there with his hands kind of clasped together in front of him. And he looks at you and he kind of, like, you see him kind of trying to see past you into the room a little bit. He says, "Hello there, good morning. I am Vicaris."
It is a pleasure to meet you. I am Laramendus.
He nods, and you kind of see, like, his hand extend forward, and he watches you for a second, and he seems like he's about to draw his hand away if you don't reach for it very quickly.
And if it goes to extend his hand, I'm going to extend mine.
Okay. Then he will take your hand. Says, he stutters a moment before he says, "I have made breakfast for the lot of you, especially for Vendar if he's there."
Yes, Vendar will come to the door upon hearing Vicaris' voice.
Yes, Vicaris will look over Laramendus' shoulder and see you, and you'll actually see his face kind of brighten. He tips his head back so you can see his face more clearly, and he smiles and he says, "Morning, brother. I've made breakfast for you and your friends."
Well, thank you. You look like you're doing very well this morning.
Yes, I had a good night's sleep, and I went for a run. I have, Dr. Neeland has, gave me the next, your newest version of the juice medication.
And how is it?
It's hard to describe, but to put it shortly, it's very good. Thank you. I haven't been this clear, this in charge of what's going on in a long time. And he'll kind of, like, you'll see he kind of, like, trails off as his eye drifts back to you, Laramendus, as you're kind of, like, caught in the middle of this conversation. He says, "I'm sorry, it's probably sharing too much. Vendar has done me a great service with his alchemy, and I would like to share the results of that with all of you, so please, follow me. I have made breakfast." And he's going to quickly turn and begin heading down the way.
Shall we go?
I'll follow.
I guess I follow.
Wait,
Yep. Down to breakfast.
Wait, we're.
Bye, Yukikaze.
Yukikaze slow to move.
Are you going to head down as you are, or are you going to take the time to put your armor on first?
No. I'm too tired, or I'm just waking up. I'm not ready to put my armor on yet.
Okay. Zoop. Zoop. Then, Vicaris leads you down. Down and down.
What? You don't want me to frickin' just drag myself frickin' lock the long way down the stairs. It's matching how slow I am because frickin' I'm tired. Just waking the frig up.
So the rest of you, ahead of Yukikaze, get to this room and you find that he has laid out a rather impressive spread. A lot of eggs. But also bacon and sausage, and fruits as well. There is also Plenty of
Care
water.
mostly about the fruit.
Oh. Just going after the fruit.
Yeah.
Alright. And you will see that Lady Kaylock is in here as well. And she's just sort of in the corner, kind of beaming. But she takes a plate and eats and is paying compliments to Vicaris, who is explaining that, he's overjoyed at having been able to do this because he hasn't been able to cook breakfast for himself, much less for anyone else, in months. And of course, he's singing the praises of Jebel and Vendar over this new ability, like it's a superpower. But yeah, you guys have your fill, and it is a really good breakfast, as a matter of fact. After a little bit, Dr. Neeland does come down, and he looks around and says, "Oh, good. You've all had a chance to eat, I see."
Yes, delicious. Ferris did a wonderful job.
He really did, didn't he? I was able to sample it when he was cooking this morning. I wanted you all to have a chance to form your own opinions. He is going to move over to Vicaris and just give him the pats on the back that he has earned. And he will begin talking quietly with Vicaris for a few moments while you all continue eating and enjoying the breakfast before he moves back over toward Jebel and Vendar. Says, "Well, has he had a chance to tell you about his experience with it?"
Yes, we asked him about it when he came upstairs to get us for breakfast. It seems to be doing quite well. I hear he even went for a jog this morning.
Yes, he says with a large grin on his dark face. It was, that was a surprise. It's usually such a chore to get him out of bed in the morning and, through the normal routine, obviously. But, he was telling me how, while it's been a long time, so he can't be entirely certain, he thinks that this one's even better than what your father used to make.
Uh-huh.
You see him, like, hedging with his hand, and he says, "had made, purchased."
Yes. So me and Chibble were probably better alchemists than the... I remember, Vendar of course remembers the name, because he learned the name of the guy who I was making it, so he can go ahead and insert the name.
Yes, you do so.
I don't remember the name.
Let me see if it's in my notes here. Barris Carver, I believe. In any event, that's what it says in my notes. So yeah, he goes, Carver. I don't think I've had the pleasure, though the name is not entirely unfamiliar. Well.
I have actually met the man. He was up in Evangard. I met him a few months ago. He taught me a little bit but not a whole lot. So he did teach me. I believe he was the one who taught me the trick to the purple worm poison.
He is. He is the reason you can make purple worm poison. He gave you your first sample of it.
So that's nice. That has been a real nice boon that I have very much enjoyed.
Yeah.
So he was an accomplished alchemist, but I think me and Triple have surpassed him at this point.
Eventually, we always surpass our mentor. That is the intention, though I think that a teacher is creating the next generation which will push the science further than they had been able to, than I had been able to. But we've yet further to push it before it's time for us to pass the torch, as they say. In any event, as I told you last night, he says, and he kind of rubs his temple a little bit. You see a bit of a wince cross his face. I hope that you boys stick with it and continue to do impressive things with your art.
We do enjoy experimenting. I'm sure we will continue.
He holds eye contact with you for a long moment, and you get the sense that he's trying to extract meaning from your words, or trying to see if you'll elaborate any further. Do you?
We have had a fair few ideas that we want to try that we haven't gotten the opportunity yet. We need ingredients, and those aren't always easy to come by, especially on the road. But whenever we get the chance, it's always fun to experiment with a new potion or poison.
Yeah. He nods and smiles. Alright then. I'll, take what you taught me, and I'll stay here with, Icarus until he no longer needs me. Or your mother gets sick of feeding me.
I'm sure you'll be welcome here for a long time yet, with how much you've helped our family.
And, Lady Kalok smiles and nods as if to confirm that, and says, "He always compliments the food in this house. I think that the servants here might even be more sad to see him go than I myself. And that's saying something." He's going to, take some food and retire to a corner of the room to speak with Vicaris. You all have your fill, and it is a lovely meal. You have passed your thanks on to Vicaris, who smiles and seems at a loss for what to say to so many that he does not know well. But to Vendar, he would, quickly stand and say, "Mother tells me that your work is going to be taking you away from the city soon, so make sure that you eat enough, Vendar, that you have the energy to do what you need to do out there."
Of course, won't quite be your cooking, but we'll manage.
You give me far too much credit, little brother. It's been a while, even since before I had father's medication, that I had been doing much cooking. This was, I had to do some experimenting myself to get this right. Luckily, we have a lot of eggs. Well, we had a lot of eggs. I'm terribly sorry, Mother. And she just, you kind of see, like, this, a cloud pass across her face. She goes, "It's all right, Vicaris. It's a wonderful breakfast." She'll, turn, away from Vicaris to smile at the group again. Say, "So, when are you leaving us to continue this?" She kind of swings her hands in front of her as though searching for a charitable way to describe your suicide mission. "Journey."
Probably today.
Oh.
I'll look to Laramendus. Yeah,
She will also look to Laramendus.
that's what we were
Party.
discussing. Yeah.
If it is today, it will likely be late today, after my appointment with Nalia. She said that she had a spell to share with me, which would need some time copying it.
Okay, so
So
late today
um,
or maybe tomorrow.
that would probably be the case.
Okay.
That's right, because it's going to be, what, 12 hours to get it?
Yeah.
Take some water with you.
What's gonna be 12 hours?
The spell. It's a 6th level spell.
So you have to spend 12 hours casting it?
Copying it.
No, I have to spend 12 hours sitting there writing in a book.
Oh, learning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just.
So is that simulacrum that you're learning?
No.
Simulacrum,
Okay.
7th level.
Yeah, for each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours. Yep.
So that would be 14 hours. So what spell are you learning?
She has not said.
Oh, she's teaching you a new spell. All right.
Yes, she said that she had a spell that she wanted to share with me, and I'm going to share with her my spell.
Okay. Well, then we can just go in the morning tomorrow then.
You can always do your information gathering. Oh, that's right! I remember now. Jebel had suggested
Oh yeah, I
that
wanted to do something.
you wanted to go to the battlefield.
Yes.
That was it.
Right.
I knew
Yeah.
there was something else. And
Why
you
did
wanted
Jabba want to go to the battlefield?
To look for clues.
a clue,
Just
a
to
clue.
see if we could find the. Yeah, just to see if we can find a clue about the Necromancer.
Or if there's, yeah, if there's anything there.
Not a bad idea. We can do that. Gotta spend our day doing something while Laramentis is writing.
Is there any information that you want me to commune to obtain to help you in your search before I am unable to assist in that manner?
No reason not to, right? Unless we want to use commune for something else today.
If we do, we can always just try. It won't always fail the second time in a day.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's use it. See if we can narrow down some stuff about the Necromancer. What do we want to ask? Do we want to try to narrow down where to look for clues, or about the Necromancer itself, or if it's just him, or if there's more than one?
Yeah, the number
feel
of
like
is
the easiest thing to help guide a search for all of you today would be things about where they had been during the fight. So we probably want a fairly accurate map of the area around the city, and we can try and use that to narrow down your search.
See, that's why you come up with the questions. I'm sure we can get one of those. Is my fancy map that I have, that's just the coastal map, right? Because it was like a trade. Probably doesn't have.
Boy, you asked me for something from a really long time ago.
It was a really long time ago. This is a really long time ago.
Oh, my fancy map. I'm like, you have a fancy map? Shit.
I got it at the same time I got my hat.
Oh my god. Yeah, it would have been. Huh.
Because it was in
Even
the
if it had stuff about here, it's probably not precise enough.
Yeah, because even if it's not just coasts and stuff, then it would be like a whole world map.
Basically, we want a map of the city and the surrounding, 10 miles.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's got to be one of those somewhere in this city. It is, the city
Yeah.
that the map is of. So,
I know your mother speaks up and she says, I actually know a merchant in the mid-city who could probably provide what you need. They tend to carry things like that, things for merchants and travelers between the cities. At the very least, they would have a border map for Aspara.
Well, that's great. I mean, go get one of those before we ask the questions.
She would give you the name and the description of the shop. And you would find that you kind of have like a vague recollection of visiting this shop as a younger person when your family would come to Everwatch on business for your father.
I remember that place. A long time.
It's under new management now, but it's the same shop.
Yeah, they should have what we need.
So if you run off down to do that, it'll take you, 10 minutes down, 10 minutes back-ish.
Okay. Sounds good.
Is there anything that people want to do leading up to that, or is everything hinging on these questions?
Blair wanted to talk to Yukikaze about the Shadowfell, right?
You could start
Right.
Do that
discussion.
now.
True.
Did anyone else want to be around for that discussion? So Yukikaze, I also wanted to talk to you about what happened when you were briefly less than alive.
Vendar and anybody who
might be
wants
able
to
to
go
do
with him,
that.
if anybody does, is gonna go do the map thing while you guys do that.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yukikazu so focused on eating, he'll look up and be like, huh? With food in his mouth.
While it is still fresh, I wanted to talk about your time in the Shadowfell.
I'm
Or
almost,
rather, I wanted to have you talk about your time in the Shadowfell.
give me a moment to finish. I wrote a bunch of it down. I'll just give me a second.
Alright. And a quick repeating of the question to Leah, Jebel, and Raiken. Did any of you wish to accompany Vendar to get this map, or would you prefer to stay here for this discussion?
Did Lerma start asking this before Vendar left?
Kind of like as Vendar was leaving. Like, Vendar would have heard the question start, decided he didn't need to know the answer to this, and left. But
Yeah.
he did ask if anybody wanted to go with him.
Raiken, I guess, would go with Vendar.
Oh, Raiken doesn't want to know about the Shadowfell. Alrighty.
Because
I would say to Laramidis, do you need to hear anything from me? Or have you heard enough?
Out of character, what has Jebel said about his time there? The answer might be nothing. I don't remember.
Well, I made mention of certain things because I specifically asked Raven Queen stuff because I thought Lara Mendes would be interested.
Right. And I think you had... So, Lara might as well say, if there's anything more you'd like to add, I would be very happy to pick your brains about even more.
Yukikazu, I'm gonna go upstairs real quick. He's gonna mosey on upstairs. I need to go get my book.
Okay. You guys, I moseys out. But it does sound to me like you want to hang out for this discussion. But the thing was that these were people that you hadn't met because they had stayed to closed off portions of the manor. So I kind of glossed over it, and for that I apologize. But Lair, others, Raiken, not Jebel, Yuki and Leah, you'd be meeting Vicaris and Dr. Neeland for the first time at this breakfast. Dr. Neeland is a man with, he's about, I would say, maybe in his late 30s, early 40s. Dark skin, dark hair, dark eyes. Very friendly demeanor about him, who tends to wear very light clothes, like those of a surgeon, perhaps. And you see he's always got like a notepad with him. And he was the one singing Vendar and Jebel's praises about their skill in alchemy earlier.
Is he still in the room now? Did he leave?
He can be. I had removed him because they would, as you guys get into a more serious discussion, they would excuse themselves. But they could still be here.
That depends on whether or not Leah joins the crew that walks away or stays here in the room, because she's not like the doctor makes her uncomfortable.
Oh. Fair enough.
She knows he's not related to that group, but he just, like, the surgeon outfit is just close enough that she feels uncomfortable.
Gotcha. But yeah, he seems like a perfectly friendly man, and everybody who you have met, like Lady Kalok, and Vendar and Jebel, seem to be very friendly with him. And he would, make a point to introduce himself and shake hands with everybody else. So, I guess
Leah wouldn't want to shake his hand.
Okay. I think at that he would retract his hand. You can see he's got, like calluses on his on the knuckle of his middle finger and the tip of his index finger, like he writes a lot. And he just sort of retracts it. Says, "That's all right. A lot of my younger patients can be pretty shy around new people, so." In any event, it's lovely to meet all of you. And then he would probably excuse himself and take Vicaris with him. Unless any of you has reason for them to stay. As for Vicaris, again, like a slightly older version of Vendar, a little bit more gaunt and pallid, as he's spent a lot more time indoors and eating poorly lately. But you can see that there is the evidence that he was well muscled, and you can see that his hands still bear the marks of a swordsman, with dark calluses all over the inside of his right hand, and nicks and cuts and scars on the backs of the hands. Do you have a good physical description for him, Jacob? Or was that just name and relation? Because that's fine too.
For Vicaris?
Yeah, I didn't know if you had a physical description you wanted to give for him. I've just been kind of staying vague.
Probably similar to Vendar.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess probably maybe a little shorter hair than him. But I guess maybe it's grown with the months of...
Yeah, I was, in my mind, I actually had him as longer and scraggly hair just because it had, not well taken care of during his other problems.
So it could be like that now.
Yeah.
Normally he kept it shorter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Vendar's hair is a little bit curly. His hair is more straight.
Okay.
But they're like the same color, and they got the same color eyes. Vicaris is usually clean shaven, but he might not be. He probably isn't right now because of
Actually, that's a good thing to point out. He actually does look freshly shaven now. He wasn't the previous day when you were helping him.
Yes.
So it looks like he had a shave today. So that run came with some other benefits.
So yes, that would be a marked difference. Yeah, he usually likes to keep his hair fairly short and trim, and and clean shaven.
It looks like he did the shaving. It looks like he still needs to get around to the hair, but he probably wanted to do something special with that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Otherwise, he's a bit bigger. He's a Vendar's 5'10", Vicaris would be like 6'1". And he's just a bit, he's stronger. He's a bit muscly.
Yeah.
So that might be a little bit less right now as well.
Yeah, actually, I mean, Vendar's going to notice that he seems a little, underfed and underworked out lately. He seems a little more gaunt and sinewy as opposed to muscular and strong. Like some of that has left him in the time since your father died.
Yeah, I guess that'd be noticeable because normally before that he would have been pretty built.
Yeah. It's not like he's like emaciated, but it's definitely like.
Yeah, but it's clear he hasn't been working out for a while.
Exactly. Okay. So yeah, those are those people. But yes, Neeland will excuse them from the room as you begin to have your discussions that are for you guys. Unless there's anything you wanted to stop and talk to them about.
Yukikaze's probably gotten back by now.
Yeah, Yukikaze, come back. Come back, Yukikaze. Abuse the hide and reveal feature for people coming and going.
The easiest thing.
Right? I keep doing it the hard way. I gotta learn.
Where'd Yukikaze go?
He went up to...
I went up to get my book because I was writing in a book earlier.
It's novella.
It's a novella. There's lots of intrigue in it. It's a little saucy.
Saucy. Spicy.
Spicy novella.
You're writing what you learned in the Shadowfell.
Spicy novella. Yes, so Yukikaze returns with this journal that the ferret was very interested in this morning.
So I will sit back down or wherever I was where I was eating earlier. Or like, were we really sitting?
Yeah, these are kind of tables, and so there would be seats by each. So you can, sit down and turn the chair away from the table if you want, or move it so the chair is at the side and put the book on the table, however you like.
Alright. So I'll be like, I'll just hold my book on me like, Narmandus, I got it.
Excellent. Out of character, had you said what the book was before leaving and coming back with the book?
Not really. Yukikaze
Okay.
half awake. So like,
so you hold up the book and you're like, I got it, and Lerman is like, excellent. What's the book?
Well, because I rested immediately after I was exhausted. I tried to write down as much as I could while I was still fresh in my mind. That's why you're also asking about it. Because I'm guessing you want to ask about it before I forget details.
Yes, but I'm also very glad that you decided to write a lot of it down as soon as possible.
Well, in a sense, some of my family is there with the Raven Queen in the hopes that I will find a solution to bring some of them back, or if not, all of them there who have stayed in hopes of being brought back.
Armendus nods fairly gravely at that.
Well, we're not trying to. It was. We're not trying to defy death. We're trying to undo a very big kind of like wrong.
I think you misunderstand my expression.
Oh,
That's going to be very difficult without the bodies. And it's been... Laramendus says the amount of time it's been since Shisharan.
well, that's actually some kind of nifty. While I was there, I was able to almost kind of study up on different types of resurrection type magic. But, and found that sometimes that you only need like just an article or part of them for certain ones. If I remembered right, Tristan, I didn't actually legitly write
There
that
are,
down.
yeah, you do, because of what you were reading, you do know more about resurrection spells and the like. You know that there are some that require just a piece of the body, and there's at least one that doesn't require anything.
So I'll speak that, and I know it's on the verge of, well, it is necromancy, but we're not trying to completely defy death. We're just trying to have one more chance at life form, considering the circumstances with the dragon. And my family, I know, is completely accepting of if they can't come back, they can't come back. But they're hoping for a chance. One more chance at life before the end. The Raven Queen didn't really seem to have a problem with anything because I think because of our beliefs with that or how we felt. But she knows that she seemed to be not upset with our shenanigans with my multiple visits to her plane, the Shadowfell. Because she knows we're destined for certain things. But as long as we don't try to avoid death completely. So for details, you got any questions about that or anything you want to ask?
I would like you to take me from you dying to you coming back in as much detail as you can.
It's much detail, huh? Like when I first died and I saw Jebel fighting that giant thing that he probably told you about already, I hope.
Out of character, I think Jebel mentioned the Shatterkai.
Yeah, Shatterkai.
I think I did, yeah.
Yes.
So when I first came in, I saw the Shadow Kai and I saw Jebel and I saw everyone's bodies. Even if this is revisiting some information you already know, I'm gonna say it anyways, if you
Yes,
don't
please.
mind. So everyone had no physical outline of their body. Everything was kind of a shadow in the general shape of each person, with a small flickering light inside of each person.
Except for the zombies.
Well, yes, Jebel, because they were dead. And I was gonna get to the point that
that was a good a detail to make sure was clear.
Well,
Thank you, Jebel.
yes, but I was gonna say it was something that actually was kind of interesting. You kind of got the feeling when looking at it and feeling that it was their essence or their soul. Shadow Kai was dealt with. The Raven Queen appeared in her usual fashion, and greeted us. And she already pretty much assumed that we weren't going to be there very long. But while Jebel was able to be brought back immediately, we asked her a few questions. I'm trying to remember what we asked her.
Wait, the Raven Queen knew you were gonna be restricted?
She had a hunch because I've visited her before. Remember when I had fun with the big eyeball creature with the slime, the giant slime, gelatinous thingy? That was not fun.
Yeah.
So, and you guys brought me back then. So I think she had a good idea about it.
So she remembers us?
Oh yeah, well, she knows everyone.
That's unnerving.
And she's always tries to greet. She said she always tries to be there for each creature that she can be at their death, if possible.
But with you, she was late?
I want to say, didn't she? I forgot she said she didn't come right away because of the Shadow Kai or something else. Tristan, you help me with that part. I forget.
She said that
Well,
your
actually, no, because technically
arrival
me
was...
remembering it is me remembering it. Never mind.
Okay.
I mean, I will say it has been much more time for you, the player, than it has been for the character.
Well, I also like it. It gives a little bit of it's not.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it gives a little more rawness to it versus being more like getting every detail. Because honestly, I woke up half tired. It could be like a fading dream, like you know. But it's not really a super key fact. I feel. But so to get back to that, I forget, Leah. I forget if he said it was because the Shadow Kai or something held her up that she didn't appear right away. I know that she said the Shadow Kai. I don't know how much you guys know of them. That they're actually her agents that work for her, but some don't always follow her way of doing things. This is actually a key factress, and she said that what was the other detail about them that they were?
She said two things. There are those that serve her, and those that do not. And the other thing that she said about them was that they are her burden, that their existence is her fault.
Okay. So she also said that they're her burden and that their existence is her fault. Um. Uh. Then Jebel and I proceeded to ask her a few more questions, and when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to be brought back right away, I asked her if there was stuff I could help her with. And also, frig Raiken for like obliterating my body. I witnessed that freaking crap he did, by the way.
It
Didn't
was
see that.
effective and necessary.
Was
You
it
were still
completely-
wearing your armor.
Was it completely necessary?
What did he do?
It looked like my freaking body was like, I was afraid my body was going to be completely erased from existence.
I mean, we had told him that he needed to make sure your head remained detached to your torso. But that was it.
Of course. All right. So, Trista, can you please reiterate the feeling of that when with the shadow? Was it? I forget if it was just cold at all or just nothing.
When he attacked your body, if you felt it.
No. The plane of that existence with the shadow.
Oh, the shadow itself felt hollow. Like the warmth and the content that makes the material plane alive and tangible was missing, and the color was drained. You felt like you were in a color-drained version of the material plane. It looked a lot like the material plane, just with all of its hues sucked away.
Yeah, and I would also, so it's kind of felt like you were, like you said, hollow, so you were just there. You just felt like you were there.
Right. And
you
had your equipment, but you felt like it was just
image.
The idea of the equipment. It was functional, but you know that it wasn't the same as, like, being there.
Alright. So I asked the Raven Queen if she needed some help with stuff, and she did say that she would invite me back, or she said that would be fine. And she took me to basically her palace, I believe. Yeah. Where
yes.
She stations.
Yes, she said it was the palace is what she called it. Was the palace. I will take you to the palace.
And when I got there, everything pretty much nothing changed feeling wise. Everything was about the same as when I when I first got to the Shadowfell. But she took me to a room where there are pages falling from the sky. And people were collecting those, or I should say probably souls were collecting those pages and organizing. And she educated me on the fact that they were basically the history of our lives. And everything that we've ever done is recorded and kept there. Hence why I said she knows everything about us. I forgot to. I don't believe I asked her what they were used for. I actually didn't think about doing that.
It was not a question that you asked her.
Yeah. I should have asked that. I'm saying that to the group. I should have asked her what they were used for, and I didn't. Because because I got greeted by one of my tribesmen. And he told me about the place and everything that was going on, and then I proceeded to help gather the pages. It's kind of weird because, like, as soon as you acquired them, you know exactly where they go without any instruction. It's just like you immediately know. And that's where Larmendus was able to inquire about more resurrection style, or more details about resurrection magic. And so I did that for a while. And then she came and got me when you guys were working on my revival.
Laramenus has been nodding along the entire time, but he's been very quiet. Basically, your experiences in the Temple of Ione that time, talking to the clerics, is basically what he's been doing, just without the writing, because you know that he'll write it down later. So he will now say, so you, as a spirit in her service, were permitted to read through these texts?
Yeah, she didn't seem to have a problem with it at all.
Interesting. And the pages coming down, did they seem to be current? Are these documents things that are happening now and recorded as they go, or is it something that happens when someone dies?
That I can't say for sure. I remember asking her a little bit about them, but I didn't ask if they were like actively as our lives are progressing, or if it was just yeah, after we died. Yeah, I'm not sure. I forgot that part.
When she explained to you how it worked, unless you don't want any hint.
No, you can. This I feel is pretty important that I should have remembered.
That she used wording that made it sound like it was they only started to appear when someone died, because she had said the volumes are collected when souls pass through.
Okay.
That was how she phrased it to you.
So I will state it that way. So it's almost like, okay, the way she worded it, and I'll say it the way Tristan just did, which also kind of me sounds like we leave behind our tails as we pass through her realm. I didn't think about that way at first. But that's what I know on that, Larmendus.
Interesting. What else would he want to ask?
Got Jebel too.
That's true. You going back to the beginning of things, you had mentioned that you had asked questions of her and whatnot. It's out of character. Jebel had said the questions that he had asked and the answers, I think, right?
I think so.
Most of those questions, Larmendus, were about the Shadow Kai.
It seems fair. Entirely reasonable. Let's see. What else might he want to ask? I suppose for not particularly relevant detail, but something that he's fairly interested in, he will ask you to describe the palace and the like architecture and things of that nature. You said that you had been speaking to one of your clan members there. How many of them were in the Raven Queen's service?
Actually, that's one thing. I just asked how they were doing and whatnot. They were all kind of scattered about. Not all of them were like in one place, and I actually don't know the exact number. I did. I failed to ask that.
I ask mostly if there is an intent to resurrect them, then we would want to know who is to be resurrected.
Well, yeah, because I'm gonna have to find if there's anything I can use that I need to, like remains or whatnot. If that is the route that I have to go, yeah, I understand. But
Which
yeah,
I will. That will be an expensive and time-consuming process, and
I
only
understand
become
that.
more expensive with time.
I understand that, and I'm not gonna give up hope. Like, I understand that it was unfortunate that everything happened to my clan's member, but I will not give up hope that there is nothing I can do yet.
If there is anyone there that you can send to begin uh, uh, dealing with the bodies, even if it's just to uh, give them burials that are going to be marked in some way, that will make the process much easier.
That is a fair point. If they're already not buried in the sand as is.
The worst of the storms have subsided, but I am sure the weather there is not kind to corpses or the creatures that are in the area.
When I get a chance, I'll try to reach out and see if any... Well, wait. Did I know of anyone that survived already? I don't think I know a specific name of anyone
do.
that survived. Do I? What was
Yes.
it again?
Well, you spoke with Shigeki Arikudo, and he told you to find his brother Toshi, who he was fairly certain did not die.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
I had met Toshi, right?
Yeah, you all met Shigeki and Toshi.
Excellent.
Because they were the two Arikudo bodyguards that were accompanying the princess across the desert. So when you first met them in the city of Tuka, left Tuka and went to the Dragonborn clan for the first time, you were with those three.
Alright, so I'll have to make it a point to reach out to them soon and figure out if there's anything that can be done.
Had Yukikaze said that it was Toshi that he needed to reach out to?
No, I have not yet.
Okay.
I will have to figure out if I can get in hold of someone. Think back on who we can, if there's someone I can send to, and what I would like them to do. I'll have to come up with anything. If Lara Medicine in the future you can help me send to someone, I'll let you know.
I
If
would
you don't
be
mind.
happy to help that way. If it's someone that I know, the sending will be easier to do. But I'm sure we could find a day when I haven't used a 9th level spell slot, and then send to whoever that way. Although it becomes harder to plan for and around.
Yeah. All right. When I come up with what I want to say and what to do, I'll let you know.
Lormendus will turn to Jebel and say, "Is there anything else that you feel should be added to. Well, actually, he's not going to say that. He's going to say, if you could describe in as much detail as possible your time in the Shadowfell.
I will. I can't remember exactly how it worked. When I died and found myself in the Shadowfell, was it like waking up, or was it just like a sudden transition?
There was a sudden transition, but you had been unconscious. You got knocked out basically, and you died from that final hit. So you know that you skipped right on past bleeding out, and you just woke up in the Shadowfell. I believe that you were lying down just as your body had been in the real world, but when you stood up, you had left that shadow of yourself on the ground that no longer had its spark of life.
Okay, so I'll describe that and how it was. Raiken was who was with me at that time.
Well, I mean, physically, before, right up until the moment you died, yeah, Raiken was the one.
Yeah, and then Raiken picked up my body and carried it back.
Yeah, for 2 rounds you followed him and your body, watching the battle, being carried out by these shadows with sparks against shadows without sparks.
And
then
I could see the world because the fog that existed in the real world didn't exist in the Shadowfell.
Right, like the place you were in was misty, but not thickly foggy like the real world had been.
The fight with the Shatterkai, he wanted to feed, and every time he hit and damaged, it felt like I was being drained. Like he was consuming part of me, and then when he died, and the Raven Queen appeared. I asked like what was happening there because that was like as a concept, like something dying in the afterlife, and she didn't really know. If I recall correctly, she wasn't entirely certain. He might come back, he might not.
Yeah. She had said that in the state he was in between, or before you had done anything, he was already in between. And so now you had put him into basically a dormant state, which he may or may not recover from. And her words had been, "Few of the secrets of death are restricted to me. However, there are some things that I have not yet come to understand."
And the form that the Shatterkai take is like they look like elves.
Yes.
But do they all look like elves? Did I find out, or was it just that
You only saw the
they
one.
take a form?
Yeah, you only saw the one, so that doesn't exactly establish a pattern.
Yeah. But from what she talked about them and all that, I could reasonably work out that this is
She
a form
didn't seem
that this
surprised that he looked like an elf, so it's reasonable that at least other Shadowkai do appear as elves.
Okay.
But I don't think she sat there and said, yeah, they're all elves.
Hmm.
She just said, this man is a Shadowkai. Now, it could be that Shadowkai is a race, and that race appears like elves. She talked about them in the same terms as somebody might say, yes, this man is a gnome, yes, this man is an elf. So, it could be that Shadowkai simply resemble elves. But, unfortunately, that's the extent of your evidence, is her words and the one man you witnessed.
Yeah. There was something else there. Oh yeah, they mentioned how we couldn't hear anything from the material realm until she allowed us to. She sort of just raised the volume so we could start to hear what people were saying, what they were talking about. I can't remember what else I asked her. Whatever I did, I give that answer. And then I was resurrected, and I woke up again.
Interesting. Well, thank you both. This was very informative. I have yet to die.
Would not recommend it.
I will endeavor to avoid it as long as is reasonable.
I will endeavor to avoid it. What? As long as it's reasonable. Okay, then. That's what I thought you said.
I suppose a wizard capable of casting 9th level spells saying, I will endeavor to avoid death, is different than, like, most people who might say that same thing.
You just imagine the Raven Queen going about her business, and all of a sudden just a big red flag pops up in front of her and goes, "What now?" Wizard talks about avoiding death. Well, he can't be that bad. The wizards are small and squishy, right? You know, 9th level casting wizard. God damn it. Me, damn it.
Am I back with the map yet?
I think that
Yeah.
seems like a not unreasonable thing, given the out-of-game
I had considered-
time that has been spent.
Yeah, I had considered jumping over to do a short scene, but it would be a little fluff scene. You get a map.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't need to... Do I need to have spent money on the map?
5 gold.
Okay.
This isn't a particularly exotic map for the area.
No.
Oh
It's
no,
got-
where
it's
will we
got
ever
enough
get
people.
that?
I don't know. How will I ever deal with 5 gold? Anyway.
I mean, you could try and
Moving
get...
on.
If you want a fancier map, they'll sell you a fancier map.
No, I'm good with that.
Got, like, cool drawings. There's a dragon on it.
Here there be.
I wanted a nice detailed map.
It seems
But it didn't gotta be
pretty well
super
detailed. It
fancy.
shows all the roads, they're all named. It shows all the cities that you're aware of, including some towns you know you've never personally visited. And it goes right to the borders, with Bramdor, Thanendir, and Sylvanas, Evangard, and Art of Town.
Okay.
Just got like little arrows like at the edge of the map to Art of Town, to Bramdor, kind of thing. Shows the roads heading out that
Completely
way.
forgotten about Heart of Town. Doesn't come up often.
So a bunch of giants there.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there. You weren't there. God. It was so long ago.
Vard of
You
Town
weren't
was...
there. Was it only me and Raiken who were there?
Raiken, no. Was Leah at the party? Leah was in the party. No? No, Leah didn't join until Aspara. So...
Brunar was there.
Brunor, Tam. God, was it just the 4 of you?
No, it was the first caster who left so long
Cade.
ago.
Cade.
Cade was there. He's the one who turned into a liquid. That's where they came from.
That's right. That was when that happened. Have you ever been a liquid? I have.
Good times.
That was so long ago.
And
the
Eris was
freaking
there?
crows that he had sitting outside his window every game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, Vardafton. It was a more interesting place when you guys couldn't fly and teleport.
We almost died. We almost completely wiped because that werewolf came and we were all almost dead.
You almost wiped because of the sword.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You almost wiped a couple times because of Raiken.
I'm gonna save it for later.
Was it Cade that cast the command spell that saved our lives?
It was not command. It was the second level version. Suggestion.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, it was.
It was
Cade.
just enough.
It was
Just enough. He saved our lives. Convinced him to leave us alone. We were all almost dead.
Convinced him that there was a bigger threat than you, and that he needed to get out of here to protect his family. And he's like, "Those are the only things I care about." So he left.
That's such a great spell.
Yeah, we all would have died if he hadn't done that.
Yeah.
Right as
Or
he's
those
decided.
giants like crit like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah, it was
Oh yeah,
it wasn't great.
It was Raiken decided to save his smite, and so the giant lived with like 1 health, and
It
then
had
crit
1
3
HP,
times in
and
a row
then it
and killed
crit
3 of us.
twice in a row, and then the next one crit.
Yeah, and because of that, it took out me. I think it took out Bruno, and it took out
Yeah.
Cade.
Tam. It was Cade too.
I guess Tam must have gone down to the next one. I know that Tam took, like, a couple big hits that he was having the damage from, but they kept critting, so he wasn't taking half damage anymore. He was taking normal damage. He got smushed.
Yeah, Vendar had to kite them.
That was one of the only
Wow.
times Vendar's gone down.
The only one up was
That was the
Yukikaze.
first time he went down, and I think he's only gone down, I think 2 other times.
I know at least one other time because of the bandits.
At least one other time. I think there may have been one other time too.
It's possible. I'm only thinking of the bandits. Anyway, good times, Fart of Ton. Big storm, rocky place. Call them dwarves.
Alright, that was why you had the super cart. Super wagon.
Yep. That was before we got the wagon taken from us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
way before.
why we had the wagon, and then we got it to...
You got attacked by assassins on the road to Gateway. You murderized the bandits, the assassins, on the road to Gateway, and took their wagon.
And their stuff.
And their stuff.
Someone took their armor.
Yeah.
Someone left them, like, naked in the ditch, and we took their wagon.
Wasn't it Bruno? Bruno
think
took
it's
literally
Bruno.
everything.
Bruno was obsessed with everything. He was like, well, we have a cart now.
Their leader
Stripped them all
disarmed
down,
him,
took their
and he took
armor.
that personally.
So, yes, we ran into the bandits that attacked us, because I believe they were actually sent after to kill us. And we killed them, dumped their naked corpses in the ditch, and took their stuff.
Yep. That definitely happened.
We're so much more mature now.
Yeah, you don't kill random people and leave them naked in a ditch anymore.
Well, to be fair, we haven't fought random people either for a while.
Has been a while since we ran into brigands on the road.
I mean,
So the
I
ability
think,
to
but
teleport kind of...
I think the last set of brigands that did try to get you ran away after you killed a couple of them. They're like, whoa, this isn't worth it. But, you know, before that, some brigands attacked you and you killed a couple of them. They went, whoa, this isn't worth it. And then you chased them down, screaming, no
away.
survivors.
I did do that. I kept missing too. I couldn't fucking hit him. I missed like 4 times in a row.
Poor Alex is dying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, please just let me live. And I'm like, no.
Chasing him on a horse. Yeah, so, you know, priorities have shifted somewhat since way back then. So, yeah,
Alright.
Bard of Ton. Haven't been there in a while.
All right.
But yeah, so you come back with the map. I don't know if you would have picked up one that was the entire country, because Larmendus had basically said we want to use the map of the surrounding area to be like, were they in this area?
Yeah,
were
I was
they in
thinking
this
it would
area
be
kind
more
of thing?
like around the city, like the city map and its surrounding area of the city.
Yes.
But yeah, that seems
Okay.
that I imagine was easy enough to find there.
Yeah. Yeah. That would give you. It's like a tourist map. It shows you like the tiers of the city, with like numbers on buildings, showing you like the most important places from a merchant's perspective. This is like a merchant's guide to Everwatch, showing you where the temples are, showing you where certain business is conducted, and like with a little key legend in the corner that explains like if any of this type of business or anything like this needs to be done, you must first see the Empress Belgrade to announce your business stake and stuff like that. So it's like a very, it's a 5 gold map. You can see outside the walls, it shows you the fields south of and to the north of the city. It's basically the middle of the map is just slashed across with the river Nalthus. Good? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, take that and draw a circle that is 5 miles from the point that, like, with the center, 5 miles centered on the point that I was, like, at the end of the bridge, because it's about where I was when I cast the Dispel Magic.
Okay.
And so we know that they were somewhere in this area.
Yeah, this includes the entire city, some of the others, the north side of the river, and then very far south.
Mm-hmm. The fog seemed to be coming towards the city, right?
It appeared to be moving from the south to the north.
Okay. So, it seems more likely that they were in this direction, since things coming from wherever they are casting it. So, basically, with my 3 questions, I want to try and narrow their area of search down. So I'll divide it. I don't know how much space I'm actually like looking at, but basically, I want to divide the space up into not entirely unreasonable areas.
Okay. So you're going to create this southern-facing cone within the 5-mile circle, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then you're going to turn that into range bands, 3 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am imagining a triangle with a curved bottom, with its wide end to the south, and then stripes across it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You do that on the map.
And so my questions are going to be, was the person casting the spell? I guess it can really only be 2 bands, because the first one should be were they in this larger area, just to make sure that the other questions aren't
Okay.
wasted.
Then you divide
so-
it in half.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what the questions are going to be. Were they within this space as they cast control weather?
Mm-hmm.
Then were they in this one? I guess it can still be 3 then, because if they were in the whole space, then were they in this one? Were they in this one? Tells you they were in the 3rd one, so there can still be 3.
Okay.
But
That all hinges
Lermanus
on
explains
the
to
first
everyone.
one. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So Lermanus explains this to everyone. If they were not in this larger cone, then I suppose we should ask if they were within
The circle.
If I think that it's control weather, I'm fairly confident that when they cast the spell, and the entire time that they were casting it, they were
In the
within
circle.
it,
Okay.
because they have to have been.
That's reasonable.
So I think that Laramendus is going to not ask that. So I think it'll be like this half.
Okay.
And
So
then
you divide it again into east and west, or north and south?
north and south.
Okay.
And then so the southern cone that we had first talked about was one portion, and then so he'll just pick the smaller of the two other sections on the south side and say that, or say he just draws some other cone on the north side, and that's basically going to be it. So he's banking on the first set of things narrowing things down enough.
Yeah.
But can try and get some, basically like a quarter of the circle.
Yeah.
If he's inaccurate in his judgment at first.
I'm feeling it. You
to
got
try
you
and
got
narrow
your
things
your map. It's got like an hourglass in the middle and a line across the center. And the lower half of the hourglass actually has like 3 layers of sand in it.
Yeah. So Laramendus explains this to everyone. Does anyone have any concerns about this? Any things that they think that should be tweaked about it? Going once, going twice. All right.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Vendar, if you could inform your mother about the fact that we're going to be casting a spell that is the spell that we cast in the morning yesterday, and so might be a little loud, will be over quickly, and will not cause any kind of damage.
Alright, I'll go tell her real quick.
Trying to think here. I know somebody did this for Cyrus, but he's gone.
You did what for Cyrus?
Commune.
Oh, yeah, I had done that for Cyrus yesterday morning.
No,
Yesterday,
but he had a cleric do it, and they have a different way of doing it, like the way that they handle their physical components. That would be useful information for you.
I'm casting the cleric spell.
I know.
How are they doing it differently than me?
Unfortunately, I don't think you've ever had a cleric casted in front of you, and the person who has is gone.
It's true, but I did learn it at a temple of my own.
Okay. Then, yeah, just make a quick wisdom check.
Okay. I'm bad at those.
Okay. Then it will be an interesting wisdom check.
Is there any skill involved in this?
Intuition. Whatever they call it. Insight! That's all.
Insight. Can I spend a mulligan?
You may spend a mulligan. What did you roll?
I rolled... I got an 11.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a 5.
Nice.
I am trained in insight, which might seem weird for Laramendus.
What? He needs to be able to read situations, and sometimes people.
It might seem weird for Laramendus's behavior.
Yeah.
That is now a 17, because I
Okay.
took my 11 that I got total, and I rolled that.
Wonderful. Okay. With a 17, you kind of have this moment where you're thinking about the instructions you're giving and the things that you're worrying about, scaring people, and the booming voice and everything, and you're remembering that when you were taught the spell, the rooms at the temple didn't seem to shake. The voice didn't seem to come from on high. And you kind of think about this for a moment. You know, it was one of those things where you had learned it kind of rote, you know, just as you had done any of your spells. You learned the mechanics of it, and you realized you didn't. And as Laramentis is wont to do, being efficient, he had eschewed anything that seemed excessive. And what you're now realizing is that you're getting a different result. And so Laramentis now, suddenly, that he's concerned about people around him, goes, well, wait, why was their spell different from mine? And you realize that it was those extra things that Laramentis eschewed for not being unnecessary that made the difference. And it was that the clerics that taught it to you were always utilizing a bowl of water, and the voice would vibrate the water and come and use the bowl to resonate, which would keep the voice small, as opposed to asking the world and having the atmosphere vibrate at you.
That's fair. This is entirely fair that Laramentis would be like, this is just theater. This is why they get paid the big bucks for the spell that doesn't cost them anything. So, I'll try that.
Okay. Being in this very ritzy manner, it is easy for you to get a bowl of water. You have a bowl of water now.
Excellent. Laramentis takes the time to cast a spell. It's 10 minutes of preparation time, and then I guess 10 minutes and an action. No, because it's a minute. The spell is a minute, and the minute is asking the questions. Yeah.
Yes.
10 minutes of preparation time, and then the minute of asking the questions.
I'm sorry, I just can't.
I was trying to remember if it was. Because, Norman spells an action, so it would be 10 minutes and an action.
Right. This one's 10 minutes and a minute.
Yeah.
Which is unusual, because normally if it's a minute, then it would be not 10 minutes, but whatever, an hour. Anyway, I just can't help but seeing, like, in the Eucharist in Catholic churches, when the priest spends 10 minutes preparing the Eucharist while the choir sings. I can't help but imagine you doing shit like that, laying out certain tools and chanting certain phrases over it, and be like, okay, now I'm ready.
Ash just like vibrating a different frequency uses the thing.
Ash is just setting the mood, okay? Alright, so you cast with the party around you, and you are able to get answers to your questions. The answers to your questions do allow you to narrow it down into the middle of your 3 bands in the southern quadrant.
Excellent.
The voice, being contained to the bowl now, does not disturb the rest of the house, and the room does not vibrate around you.
I need to get a bowl now.
Why is casting spells so inconvenient? Asks the wizard. So there, Jebel and Vendar have it, since they are the ones who wanted to go out to the battlefield.
Anyone else is, of course, welcome to join. Who knows what we'll find? Lair's got a bunch of writing to do, but the rest of you...
I guess I could join. But we're gonna have to get things for breathing, because I don't want to freaking throw up again.
Yeah, we'll stop at a flower shop and get some posies and stuff. So that we can now have bags of posies to keep our noses.
Posies for the nosies.
Yeah. Keep it smelling fresh instead of dead.
Alright. So, Larmendis is going to set up his meeting, and at least it sounds like I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like Raiken's sticking near Vendar, and Yukikaze is going. Is that correct, Raiken?
Yep.
Okay. Jebel, I know, wanted to go, so, Leah, are you going to go with them, or see if you can tag along with, Lara? You'd have to ask him, but they seem like your three options are go with them, try to tag along with Lara, or find something to entertain you in the city.
I'm gonna stick with. I'm gonna go with them. I guess I'm gonna stick close to Raiken this time.
Okay. Very well. You good with that, Sim?
Yes. I want to, before they leave me, I'm going to do the sending to know for certain that I'm going to Volinar and not she's coming to Everwatch.
Okay.
So
Do you want a
send that to
telepathic
you.
bond before you leave, or would that just distract you?
Could get up to 2 hours out of it. It's not
It's
worthless.
true. That it is. Use it sparingly. But yes, I can put that up in case it is beneficial to any of you, and also in case something happens and I need to get to you as quickly as possible.
Alright. Then, do your sending first.
Spend some spell slots. Will be a third send. I suppose I don't need to spend a spell slot for telepathic bond. It's a ritual, and we're not in a huge rush right now.
So you can spend the 11 minutes doing it. So for sending, just to save time, she will, in her 25 words, let you know that you should come to her using her special circle.
That is what I.
Because her recent absences from the city have been a bit too frequent, and she has duties.
So I will share to everyone that I will be in Volinar. If I need to get back to you, I can do that fairly quickly.
Right. But if you leave, does the telepathic bond break because you're not part of it or too far away?
As long as we remain on the same plane of existence, then the telepathic bond remains.
That's pretty ridiculous.
It's a high-level spell.
Well, that's what you guys says out loud. That's pretty ridiculous.
It is fairly complicated magic.
It's impressive.
Where do I? Oh, there we go. Yeah, and I will extend it so that it will last 2 hours. Using up one of my sorcery points.
Okay. It will last for 2 hours?
I am going to let you handle all of them first.
Okay.
So I can go and deal with my cat.
That sounds good. Alright. So, the rest of you are going to head down through the city. You're able to stop back off in one of the middle tiers and find a flower shop. They will make you a bunch of pouches of posies. They tell you that they have been having to do this for a lot of the soldiers, so their supplies are running a little low of late, but they are very well practiced at it, so they can have the 5 that you need very quickly. They are going to be charging you a gold piece for each of them, though.
That's fine. I'll pay a gold piece each.
Alright. You pay 5 gold pieces. You have 5 pouches of posies. Each of you can hold this sackcloth sack up to your face and smell the very strong, sweet aroma from this. And you head down back to the Gate Plaza, which just yesterday was a morass of wounds, injuries, soldiers, people, the clerics, everything. Like, it was just bedlam here while they were dealing with the aftermath of the battle against the zombies. You get there today, and things are calm. Very calm by comparison. There's a couple patrols of guards just marching about. People are going about their business. The area, you can see there's still some people like scrubbing the stones and sweeping up, where there was some blood loss, but people seem very calm. The gates stand open, and you can see patrols of soldiers moving up and down the bridge off the south side of the city, headed toward the battlefield where you did your fighting. And so, if you wish to head across the bridge, no one is going to stop you. As a matter of fact, a couple people, especially soldiers, are going to seem to, like, they take a moment watching you, and then there's, like, some recognition kind of crosses their faces, and you'll actually see some of them kind of, like, break into smiles and wave, and you'll hear, oh, there they are, thank you for yesterday.
Jabbo back.
You're welcome.
They're just trying to help out.
As you are passing through the middle tiers of the city going to these merchants, you actually will hear a couple of the merchants, congratulating Vendar specifically, and saying things like, "Welcome back, Mr. Draknir." And you will notice flyers up in these places announcing that Vendar is once again free to be traded with at no punishment.
Wonderful.
Oh, you guys.
That's good.
Oh, I was saying, I was like, that was actually pretty fast.
Things happen fast when you're powerful.
Yeah.
But also, it's much later in the morning by this time, since you had breakfast and did a lot of talking. You'd gotten up, like, maybe, let's call it 5:30. It's 7:30, 8 o'clock by now. Yeah.
Yukikaze equipped his armor and everything before he left. I didn't state it, but I thought it. I should have stated it.
Okay.
I think that is obvious.
Yeah, it is fine that you have done that. Thank you for stating it. Raiken. Not Cyrus Vendar. And where did Joel go?
I would have also, when we purchased the flowers, I want to have crafted or put together just like I wrapped them in a cloth and then kind of tied them to my nose, if that's something I'm allowed to do.
So you're taking the... So they kind of gave you each these sackcloth pouches filled with them.
Okay.
That are like in squares, like bean bags almost. Like, so you just kind of want to like press that against your nose and then run like a ribbon around your head to hold it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
So my hands are free, but
Yep.
I still have the...
Yeah, you don't look silly at all, but it absolutely gets your hands free.
Well, you want to know what?
No.
Honestly, I'm a person of practicality. It works. I don't give a crap that looks weird.
on like a bandana, you can just tie the bandana to your face and have that inside.
I mean, he has effectively done that. Why do you keep going below the map, Lorelei? Why? Why are you such a problem child? There we go.
Chris, how potent are the flowers? If it's like around your neck, would that be good enough? Or does it have to be like up by your nose?
Here on the bridge, for the most part, I would say yes. As you pass down the bridge toward the field itself. So first of all, you're going to notice that the bridge has been pretty much cleared. Actually, has been entirely. I'm going to say it's been entirely cleared of bodies. But you can see, like you did the day before, you saw a group of people who were, like, adding bodies to a cart right before the zombies attacked. You can see several carts and like 3 or 4 times as many soldiers out there moving to gather bodies and remains off the ground and throw them onto these carts. So, as you move down the bridge, you will find that just wearing it around your neck to keep it kind of close-ish to your face is enough. As you get to the end of the bridge, you can tell that, like, the rot of bodies is kind of mingling with the dampness of the ground and just kind of sticking and stinking in a way that is more unpleasant than on the stones. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, if it starts to get unpleasant, then I'm just gonna go ahead and take like a bandana and
Tie it to
tie
your
it around
face.
my face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Native people use both hands to use my bow, so.
Whoops, there she is. There we go. You're off to see the wizard. Okay. So, you get to the other end of the bridge. As you know, with your stop in the shop to get this, it takes you about an hour to get there from when you left Laramendis. So, you know that you've got about an hour of telepathic bond left. So, I will ask to the whole group, but I know that it was specifically Jebel and Vendar who wanted to come down here. What are you doing now that you're here? And you have seen what I have described.
Well, let's go to the area that we narrowed it down to and see if we can find any clue about the pasture.
Okay. You begin moving across the battlefield, and the smell does grow steadily worse as you go out. Those that were out here for Laramendis' spell, the first time he used the historical lens, you know that it is not as bad today as it seems. The density of bodies is much lower. The cleanup efforts have been increased a great deal. But you still find that you have to, if not hold the posies under your nose in order to keep yourself from retching, then tie them to your face, as Vendar and Yukikaze have done. But you can't always just hold them there if you're not worried about losing a hand to doing so.
Yeah. I figure Raiken would put them, I guess, tie him to his, around his face, under his visor.
Okay, yeah, that works. So you go, and,
What about Lorelei?
What about...
She could always just spell by. She could always. Just
I mean, she's
fly
very
by
small, so she could get up with yours. She also seems less bothered by it.
I'll ask her if it's too much. I can temporarily dismiss you, so you don't have to smell this.
She kind of She kind of looks around, and she says, "'Tis unpleasant, but I can tolerate it for now. If you dismiss me, then I can't protect you."
If you say so, just let me know if it gets too unpleasant.
"If it does, I will come and share your flowers." She kind of like pokes at the bag with her hand fluttering up near your face. Like, yeah. She seems like you can't really read the expression. She clearly has feelings about this bag of crunched up flowers, but they don't seem to be good or bad feelings. She seems confused by him.
Okay, then.
So you begin moving. You know that this is going to be a 2.5-mile jaunt, which is about another hour of walking for all you armored up persons, since average human walking speed is 3 miles an hour.
We do have a gnome with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it about an hour to go 2.5 miles.
That horse.
Yes. There's lots of unfortunate sights out here. And as you go, you will be trudging across this battlefield, which is much drier today. Your feet don't sink into it as much as it, isn't directly after a rainstorm, and you don't have the mist. It's actually sunny out today, and the ground seems to be drying. You do see these patrols passing by, collecting bodies and throwing them on the wagons, and every now and then you'll catch one of the soldiers among them, kind of like pointing at you, indicating you to the people around him, like pointing at his face, like holding his hand over his face and like doing a jape, a bit of a dance, and all of them kind of laughing.
Raiken's gonna be like, man, it's a good thing we didn't have to face zombie horses.
You would have been more scared of zombie horses. What's it gonna do?
Trample us. Well, not me, because I'm tall, but,
Zombie
You guys.
horses flying around, kicking you in the face.
I think zombie horses would have been worse.
Just think if the zombies rode the zombie horses.
I mean, I'm guessing a zombie horse wouldn't be able to attack you as fast as these ones were, but they probably would hit harder.
It would bite harder
Especially
too.
if they get you with like a good buck, a good hard kick. That'll kill you.
Kick you with their front and their back, and bite you.
It's harder to take off their heads.
You know what though? If they could manage to do 4 strikes with each hoof somehow and bite in one turn in 6 seconds, that'd be fucking impressive. You want fast horse. Like it jumps into the fucking air.
Just pinwheels at you.
The spider horse.
That'd be scary.
Oh god.
So you check your map as you walk, and you find that you kind of you do some head math and kind of figure at it, and you go, okay, yeah, around here should be where the casting was happening from.
At this point, just for shits and giggles, Raiken is going to activate his divine sense.
Okay, activate divine sense. This allows you to sense undead, fiends, celestials, fae, I believe, correct?
Doesn't say fiend or fae. It says celestial fiend and undead and anything affected by the hollow spell.
Yes. And I believe that Hallow is consecrate and desecrate, basically.
Yeah. Within 60 feet.
Right.
Well,
Are you...
I activate detect magic.
Okay, you detect magic. Now I imagine that your guys are going to kind of do a sweep over this area, activating it, every time it wears off. You go to an area, activate it, check, go to, scan as much as you can, go to another area, activate it, and then scan as much as you can.
Well, I only have four times I can do it. So, yeah, I'll probably, spread it out over a certain amount of feet to get the best possible coverage.
Yeah, you realize that because it was a triangle cut into bands, that it widens as it gets further away from the city, and that this band is a pretty decent chunk of area that you're going to be searching out here as you trudge around. Are you going to move together as a unit, or are you going to try to spread out and just spread and search and try and cover as much ground as fast as possible?
We've reached our destination, right?
At this time, you have gotten to the area that Laramenda's spell indicated the spell was being cast from yesterday.
Then I am going to tell them that I'm going to cast a spell. It will take me some time, and I'm ritual casting Communicate Nature.
Okay. Are you going to describe the spell or its results at all, or are you just telling them what you just said?
I'll tell them that I might learn something from it, and if I do, I'll let them know.
Okay. How long is it going to take you to cast?
11 minutes.
11 minutes. So he says he's going to start casting and that he's hoping to learn some things from it, and he begins casting. Are you guys going to wait for him to finish casting, or while he's doing that, are you going to start searching?
I'm going to start searching around.
Okay.
Yeah. Start searching.
Alright. Yuki?
Since Jebel's gonna be distracted casting, I'll stick by him in case he needs help.
Alright, very good. And Leah, you are going to stick by, or are you going to also start searching?
I'm gonna start searching.
Okay.
I'm using my detect magic. I can just cast that whenever.
Okay. For Leah and Raiken, I would like you each to roll me D100.
Jeez. I never roll this. Oh, God.
It's October, so I'm gonna use my Halloween die.
Oh,
They got pumpkins
time for spooky season.
and skulls and stuff, spiders and such. See,
And it feels like it was just August, but it's already October.
Right?
yeah.
You somehow
September
missed
even
September.
happened?
Well, I think the problem was we were not playing for a bunch of September. That probably helped it go fast. I think we missed 2 sessions in September.
Which is half of September.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got 38.
Okay.
I got 58.
Okay.
Well, nice that we both land on 8 with a 10 number.
Yeah.
8's best number.
And Vendar, give me a D100.
I gotta find the die. $84.
84.
Of course, the one that's not using anything against the big roll.
And could you make me a perception check for me?
Perception.
Yeah.
It's only 11, so I think my passive of 29 probably beats that. Yeah, my
Alrighty.
passive is 29.
Leah and Raiken, you guys start, spreading apart in this sector, having kind of indicated to each other, like, where you believe the borders of the sector are, so, like, don't go out past that, then we're going to search from here to there, kind of thing, pointing at landmarks on the field that you could see from the starting point. And you kind of spread out and start doing your individual searching methods. Leah and Raiken, you don't sense anything in this first spot that you're searching. Vendar, you're going to notice that you are far enough down the battlefield at this point that the cleanup hasn't really reached here. So there are more bodies about here. You kind of find that you're holding a bit tighter to the, checking your ribbon holding your posies to your face is fast and tightly and not slipping, as the smell is not great. You're also going to notice that there are some uniforms on these older bodies here that you recognize as belonging to the Draknir army.
So these are people that I knew, or
Potentially.
at least fought for my family.
At the very least, you know that they were paid by your family. Possible that some of these people you knew. You do know that these bodies are old. They have been moldering here on the ground for a long time. And they look at... There is clear signs of predation. There is just straight up exposure, just desiccation and rot. They are, at this point, they are not recognizable.
Yeah, so they've been here at least since the fight.
Yeah.
Months ago.
Yeah. You know that Everwatch has had a rough time ever since then. You remember that even after the armistice, Bromdor had been leaving peacekeeping force in the area, which was causing more problems, and people were staying, locked up inside the cities here to avoid contact with the Bromdoran soldiers. Is probably why they're still here. It's because this area isn't frequented by travelers and merchants like it was before that invasion. Alright, I'm going to have each of you three roll me one more D100 to represent the next 5 minutes as Jebel casts his spell. You move to new locations and search again. So D100s from the three of you.
At 47.
47.
I just want to point out, like, I'm re-rolling because after the first roll, I got different die and rolled again, and I rolled 100. But I got 29 this time.
29, okay. And Leah?
Oh, oops, I mixed. Ooh, what was I supposed to roll?
D100.
Oh, yeah, okay. So just continue search.
Yes.
Um,
You're moving to a new zone, casting your Detect Magic again, and looking around. Or, since it was only... These are 5-minute segments, you're not casting Detect Magic again. You're using the same as the first one.
that's 32.
32.
For some reason, this one die just doesn't want to be anything else but 30.
Still highest.
Alright, so, you said 29, Raiken?
Yes.
Okay. You are going to detect the effects of this Hallow spell nearby you.
Oh, I think I may have found something.
And as you turn your eyes toward where your divine sense is telling you this is coming from, you do spot this, the whole area is pretty torn up, ravaged by the battle. There's just splashes of ground where it was either upturned by the movements of soldiers, horses, or artillery, or places where, like, the dying bodies have covered up grass and have just killed the grass in those areas. But you notice that while it's a patchwork of not growing well around here, there is this area highlighted to you now by your divine senses that seems to form almost a perfect circle with little inclusions here and there of, like, dried, burned grass. Like, not fire burned, but, like, sunburned, right? Just dried out, browned, and battened down grass. And that as you pay attention to it, or back up, rather, you become able to appreciate that it forms a circle.
Interesting. I've found a circle.
The circle of what?
It is a hallow spell. Seems to be a circle created almost by the drying out from the sun, but in symbols.
So you'll have to forgive me if I've got this interpretation wrong. Let me quickly just look at the Hallow spell, because I'm pretty sure it is supposed to function the same as Consecrate, Desecrate, but...
Make sure, because it doesn't give me anything. It just says affected by the Hallow spell.
So you touch a point and infuse an area around it with holy or unholy power. Yes, so it is the same as Consecrate, Desecrate. The area can have a radius of up to 60 feet, and the spell fails if the radius includes an area already under the effect of a Hallow spell. The effect of the area is subjected to the following. The first, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead cannot enter that area, nor can such creatures charm, frighten, or possess creatures within it. This is if you consecrate it. Any creature charmed, frightened, or possessed by such creature is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed upon entering the area. You can exclude one or more types of the creatures from this effect. Second, you can bind an extra effect to the area. Choose the effect from the following list. The effect can be offered by the GM. Some of the effects apply to creatures in the area. You can designate whether the effect applies to all creatures that follow a specific deity or leader. You can choose how that works. Courage. Affected creatures can't be frightened while they're in the area. Darkness. The area fills with darkness. Normal light as well as magical light created by spells of a lower level than the slot used to cast this spell cannot illuminate the area. Daylight, bright light fills the area. Energy protection, affected creatures in the area have resistance. Energy vulnerability, affected area, enemy creatures in the affected area have vulnerability. Everlasting rest, dead bodies interred in the area can't be turned into undead. Extradimensional interference, affected creatures can't move or travel using the teleportation spell. Fear, affected creatures are frightened while in the area. Silence, no sound can emanate. Tongues, creatures can communicate. And the duration until dispelled. Casting time is 24 hours. So, this can be cast by clerics. So you're aware that Hallow is a spell that lets clerics designate an area and protect it. Usually from entry by these unnatural creatures. But you are also aware that evil clerics can use it for their own ends, basically in the opposite way, making those kinds of creatures that would be their allies stronger in this area. And you get the sense that that's what has been done as you observe this from the outside. You feel this malevolent aura there.
Seems like it was... These are made by clerics. This one definitely seems to be evil. On the dark side.
That would suggest more than one caster, because if that's a cleric, then the other spell was a wizard. Alright.
Could be the case.
Yeah. Definitely plausible.
It sounds like a good lead, though. I'm gonna go over to where Raiken is and check out the.
Okay, you guys will begin investigating that area together. Leah, do you wish to join them there?
Yeah.
Okay. Jebel, you finished
Yep.
casting your spell.
Okay. So you instantly gain knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subjects as they relate to terrain, bodies of water, prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or peoples. Powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead. That one. Influence from other planes of existence. We'll go with that one. And buildings. I'll go with buildings.
Okay.
So powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elements, undead, influence from other planes of existence, buildings.
Alright. Yun... Waith. Nature. That way I can see you're going that. Okay, so you're going with the bottom 3.
Yep.
They instantly gain knowledge of up to 3 facts about any of the following subjects, for example. To determine the location. Alright, are you going to ask for a specific fact, or do you want me to give you a random fact about for one random fact for each of these 3 things, or are you going to ask a specific question for a fact for each of these 3? Those are the 2 ways I can see to do this. Because it just says...
It's not really... I don't think it says questions. It's more that you just gain an
3
understanding
facts.
of the...
Well, it just says 3 facts, which is... those can be kind of narrow, or they can be kind of broad.
Well, I want to know about undead, basically.
Okay. So I would say, and let's see, 3 miles. So yeah, the land within 3 miles of you, fact about undead is that, that a great, very large number of undead rose and fell here, and some of those undead left this area without falling.
And there are none in here now,
Uh...
within 3 miles.
Within 3 miles of your current location, love that. So anyways, within 3 miles of your current location, there are no active undead.
Okay. The influence from other planes, just... is there any?
I guess it's going to require me to make a decision about some cosmology on the spot. I'm gonna say that yes, there is influence from another plane, and you are able to know that that plane is the Astral Sea.
Okay. And...
Yeah.
buildings.
Buildings. Many structures have been destroyed. Temporary structures have been put up and taken down recently. Within 3 miles of you, yes, there are permanent structures.
Can I... do I know where the undead came from? Like, where they started from?
I mean, because of the nature of the fight yesterday, you know that a great many of them came from here. Humans or humanoids that fell on this battlefield rose as undead. upon falling.
Okay.
You were one
Okay.
of them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that... Do I know that the undead... They didn't originally come in from someplace else? They were just the reanimated corpses of people who fell in the battle.
It might be outside the purview of what you're normally supposed to get, but I will give you that at least this battle was predicated by undead that originated from further than 3 miles from your current position.
Okay. Okay, with that I will stand up. And who's still around me?
Sorry, I'll kind of spread you out, but Yukikaze is.
Yeah.
Throw these guys kind of over here. Lorelei. Okay, so you got Yukikaze, who seems to be, like, standing there with his, Are you back to 2 swords? Are you still sword and shielding it? How are you doing it these days? Yuki?
Well, for looks, I like to have my swords displayed, so I'll have the sword, or currently since we're walking around, shields on my back,
Okay.
2 swords at my sides.
Yeah, and you don't have to have the shield in your hand to be attuned to it.
Yeah, I know that.
You just have to have the shield in your hand to gain its AC.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, he's
And
kind of-
use its effect.
yeah. You have to block. Yeah.
But continue. What you were saying?
All I was saying was that you are kind of doing a bit of a patrol around him, looking very vigilant and ready to fight if anything were to jump you while you were casting.
I'm not really patrolling, probably just standing there, just being attentive. But yeah, Jebel, you just see Yukikaze just chilling there, being attentive, looking around.
And I stand up, and I will also just look around and go, where did Laramendis go?
Larry Mendes was back at the
400 Lodge.
Boarhunter Lodge.
Oh, that's right.
He was
So the
heading-
last time he saw Lara Mendes, he cast telepathic bond on you and told you that he was going to Volinar.
I was gonna
Right.
say that, Larry Mendes. You're not here right now.
We are telepathically bonded.
You are telepathically bonded for about another minute.
Oh,
That-
Because it took them about an hour to get to the battlefield from you, and then it took them another hour to get 2.5 miles out onto the battlefield.
fair.
So I will telepath to Laramendis. I found out some stuff about this Teely here. A lot of undead came in from someplace else. Like, they're not just raised on the battlefield. Also, the Astral Sea seems to be doing something here.
Interesting.
Oh, telepathic bond ends. So sad.
We got some desecrated ground. Oh, it's too late. Okay. We'll talk about him later. We'll talk about it to him later.
Give him all that cryptic information, like, oh, that's something to think about.
They came from elsewhere and Astral Sea. Interesting.
Alright, so you see that those guys are now kind of marching a patrol, like watching. They're doing a sector search out ahead of you a ways. They seem to be watching the ground intently and checking bodies out there. You wish to head to them, Jebel and Yukikaze?
Yeah, I head over to wherever they are.
Okay. Alright, you guys, you 3, Leah, Raiken, and Vendar, please roll me investigation.
Investigation.
Yes.
Investigation. Oh, good. One of the ones I suck at.
Not bad.
11.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's still less than my passive.
boy.
Passive 16.
Okay, and Leah?
Okay, 8.
8. Okay. Well, Leah and Raiken, you find that if you enter the area of dead grass, that you immediately feel a chill run down your spine, and like you're being watched, like an attack could come at any moment, and you feel fear.
I feel fear.
Yeah, you feel, well, you can't. So never mind. I forgot. You're immune. But if Leah's more than 10 feet away from you at any point when you're in this, like, 30, 60-foot circle of dead grass, then she will feel the creeping fear.
But
That
not me.
makes you.
If anybody is away, gets more than 10 feet away from me, in the vicinity.
Leah, you do, feel immediately, like, anytime he drifts away from you as you're searching that area, that you want to quickly get back close to him, where you feel this comforting presence of his proximity.
Tristan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Because considering this is like delving into like necromancy and that is like dead grass and stuff like that. Does Leah notice anything like related to her background because of her time with Zephyr? She did dabble with that kind of spells.
So, like the grass being dried out here does remind you of the effects of, I imagine you're thinking of the blight spell.
Yeah.
It does, but so it very much feel like, you looking at it, you feel like it could have been created by a blight spell. I will say, however, that Raiken did explain the effects of the Hallow spell, or the Unhallow spell in this case, Consecrate, Desecrate, and so you can imagine that if it was not caused by blight, then it is definitely caused by desecration of this area. But yes, it is a very similar effect to if you cast blight on this patch of ground. However, when you enter the area and search around it, that's when the fear creeps in and you feel like you want to stay near Raiken, because when he's nearby, you don't feel afraid.
There's definitely something wrong here.
What is it?
Well, I mean, the dead grass and all is one thing, but if you drift too far away, I feel like devastating fear. Like, in the natural way. What if what caused this is still around, but we just can't see it?
Well, everybody stay vigilant. We don't want a surprise attack in case the enemy might still be around. Perhaps looking at the aftermath of what they did.
The two of you being the spellcasters in the area at this moment can roll me a wisdom check each. Just a straight up wisdom.
That me?
Yes.
Not yet, because you're catching up with them with his.
Not there yet.
Not quite. You will be soon. I just wanted to get through what they were getting while you were catching up.
Straight up wisdom is a 20.
Nice. Yeah.
Math. 25.
Wow. So yeah, you do approach this area, Jebel, and see them searching around and hear these concerns. as Leo's speaking to Raiken from very close to him. Both of you know that if there is an ongoing magical effect on a place, it is possible that it could be dispelled. That is an option you could try.
Raiken does have Dispel Magic available. Let's see, what's the lowest I can... Well, I don't know if I want to count... That's the thing, though. I don't know what level this would be.
Third level spell at its base. Dispel magic, so you can always roll at base and then just roll and hope. Casting it at the same level as the target spell just means it's automatic.
Yeah, Raiken will try third level Dispel. Okay. And then I have to roll. Huzzah! Oh well, that sucked. I don't think I'm getting anything higher than a 3. Equals 10 level. What's my spellcasting ability? Where the hell do I find that?
Wait, I'm sorry. I was answering another question. What are you looking for?
Because I rolled...
If you rolled a Dispel, then it's going to just be it's a d20 plus just your casting modifier. So you're a Charisma caster. Excuse me. You're a Charisma caster, so it would be plus your Charisma modifier.
Okay. So, yeah. I rolled I basically got a 5, so I think it's only level 3.
Right.
Or
yes, because in order to dispel, much like with Counterspell, it's 10 plus the level of the spell.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you dispel up to level 3. You notice no change in the area after casting your spell.
Okay. Well, it's at least more than a level 3. Does he dare cast a level 4? He's gonna cast a level 4. And
Okay.
hope he rolls better.
I hope he rolls better.
He rolled a lot better. So that is a 21.
Yeah. Okay. With a 21, you will notice that the area as you stand in it suddenly feels less gloomy. You realize the sun starts shining more brightly upon you, and you almost feel like some stench that had been slipping to your nose past the potpourri, the posies, vanishes.
Well, I think I took care of something at least.
Jebel, as you approach, you see Raiken cast this spell twice, and you immediately feel like this weight lift off of you as you approach the group. This weight that had just suddenly appeared is just as suddenly gone.
the hell was that?
I don't know. It was some kind of effect, but my dispel magic seemed to be enough to get rid of it.
Are you guys going to exchange the information that you've each gathered?
Yeah, I let them know.
Okay.
Well, I said it over telepathic
Telepathy,
bond, right?
yeah.
So they know what I.
Alright, well, they're gonna tell you, your guys are gonna tell him what's up.
Yes, we will tell him about the Hallow spell and the feeling of fear and possibly being attacked, and then dispelling it all away.
Alright, so Vendar. Sorry about the delay. But while they were dealing with what was inside the circle, Vendar, you were focusing with your 16 on what was outside of the circle, figuring already, when the magic caster's dealing with it, it was a bad area, you didn't want to mess with it anyway. And with your 16, you are going to notice that there are markings on the ground, ruts cut in the soil, matting to the grass, streaks of blood that indicate the removal of dead bodies, possibly by dragging them away to the south.
Alright, well, that's a lead.
That there are no, that all the groups you saw between you and the city were using wagons, and there's no indication of wheel ruts here.
So it looks like somebody took corpses off of the battlefield and away south. And Jubble said that the bodies didn't originate from here, but maybe they did, and they were taken somewhere else to be reanimated.
Well, no, I said that the undead didn't originate from here.
Yes.
And yeah,
I mean,
it could have been bodies from here.
yeah,
but
so
they didn't originally rise here.
Seems like
follow this path, to follow these tracks, maybe I can find where they were raised.
Alright, I want all 5 of you to roll me investigation check, 1 each, as you guys begin following this path indicated by Vendar away south.
Whew.
At 20!
I would have had that 20, but it's 19 because of -1.
Nat 19!
So I'm 21 total.
Okay, Leah?
Was this a wisdom again?
This is investigation.
Oh, it's investigation. Sorry, it's getting late for me, so my
Yeah,
brain is a little slow.
I know, I'm finishing up here, so just stick with me a few more minutes. I just wanted to end on one scene.
Investigation, just that's 8, same as last time, I believe.
8. Okay, and Yuki?
17.
Nice, and Jebel.
What's this?
Investigation.
Wait, no, that's a D12. Why is that mixed in with those?
I swear if this D20 lands low again, I'm gonna have to put in the jail.
15.
15, okay. It's not bad, everybody except Leah. You begin following this path south, these ruts cut in the grass, these matting down over these splashes of blood. Eventually you come upon like a severed hand, just sort of the fingers curled toward the sky, that seems to be just beginning to decay. You see like a maggot crawling across the palm, and moving further on you see other viscera and entrails kind of left here and there, and you notice that as you continue following this trail, kind of looking up, you get the idea that it's heading generally toward this small copse of trees that rises between a couple roads off in the distance as you're heading, southward toward the Bromdoran border. Of course, you're nowhere near there physically, but it is that general direction. And you begin to think, well, maybe there's going to be something in the copse of trees. And as you continue following this, more and more things, small articles of torn and bloody clothing, a toe, an eyeball, a tongue, just bits of body just left behind and discarded. And until you reach the copse of trees and you can see that the grasses here growing between the trees is clearly parted, and you can see blood streaked on it as though whatever was dragged into this small little, this tiny glade of maybe, 20 small trees here. And you can, looking in from the outside, you just see the broken up light of the sun scattering across the narrow trunks and the grasses in there, and you kind of get the idea of some lump of something in among the trees, but you'd really have to actually enter the copse in order to see what it is.
Who's going first?
Are you letting us know all this?
This is what all of you see.
Oh, okay. I thought this was just the high investigations.
So, all of you, well, fair, but I imagine that with only one person rolling poorly, the others are going to be dragging you around enough that they're like, oh yeah, there, oh hey, there, and so you're kind of you wouldn't have noticed it on your own, but after they point it out, you see it, and for a lot of it, you wish you hadn't.
Okay.
Bits of body left on the ground.
So it's a body. I thought it's a trunk. I thought it. I think I misunderstood. So it's a corpse. We found a corpse.
It is not a corpse. It is a copse of trees, which is
a
small group of trees.
Okay.
Maybe,
20,
30, 40 feet across.
Okay.
But there's something in there. Supposedly. That's what it looks like.
Lorelei, do you want to scout ahead? Since you can't be seen.
She looks around and goes, oh yeah, I guess I can do that, can't I? So she'll turn invisible and flutter her way into the small group of trees. You guys don't see what's going on as she's invisible, but you hear suddenly a voice shouting from within the trees. It sounds like a deep masculine voice that echoes, and you see a bunch of birds, crows and ravens and such, suddenly explode out of the copse and just start flying off away from the trees, as they must have been in there, as this deep masculine voice rings out loudly, echoing at you, as you hear, I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book. Stand in this glowing circle if you want to hear more. And Lorelei reappears in front of you, just kind of wide-eyed, with a finger in her ear, ow! There's just a big mouth yelling over there.
Okay, so an illusion?
Yes.
Is there a big golden circle?
There was a glowing ring on the ground, yes?
Okay, he's trying to trap us.
Okay. Do we need to do something about the mouth? It was annoying.
Well, where's Laramendas when you need him?
Yeah, I guess we could try to talk to it. Definitely don't get in the circle.
Since there's going to be some debate, we might have to pick it up here next time then. Let everybody go to sleep.
I imagine Lorelai doing like the Archer mop.
Mwah, ma, ma. Damn tinnitus. But, yeah, so a bunch of birds got scared away, and Lorelai is not happy about having her ears shouted at by some weird mouth.
Fun times.
Because it was a good idea to send her in there in case something else happens there as well. I mean, she didn't land on the circles. We don't know, like, if we set foot there, if that does something else, if it's just a magic mouth.
We'll have to find out next time!
Everybody loves Raiken.
Woo! Everybody take 1,400 experience points!
1,400. What?
Yes, it's time to go up by a little bit again.
Boom. Aw, shit. I'm over 240.
Woo! I don't know what that means. Oh, 240,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. 244,512 because
an extra 250.
round numbers are for dweeps.
265.
265. Okay.
243,562.
Alright. Alright, so next time we'll find out where Lair, what he's doing, and we'll find out more about this loudmouth.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Alright.
The best time he's had in like months.
I mean, I guess we're off next. No, I don't know. I don't know. I have to check our scheduling. Anyway, hopefully it's next week. I don't remember.
I hope it is, because at the time I can't is the 18th. So
18th. Yeah, see, that's why I started to say it, and then I stopped myself and I'm like, wait, that wasn't necessarily next week. I had a lot of warning on that. Okay, so thank you everybody for being here. I hope you had a good time. Bye, stream.
Goodbye.
Bye.